Jinu turned his back on Rumi while the hungry wolves closed in on her. No warning, no explanation, just silence and the sound of retreating steps. Rumi stood frozen as the dark trees filled with glowing, circling yellow eyes. 7 wolves, 1 girl, and the only person who could save her, walking away. Jinu! Jinu, please! What are you doing? Don't you dare leave me here! He never turned back, his fists clenched tight as his feet kept moving forward. Rumi's heart broke into something far colder than the dark forest night around her. From the high ridge, Zoey watched, and something felt deeply, horribly wrong. The wolves weren't acting wild. They moved like soldiers following a strict command. This isn't random, Zoey breathed sharply. Someone is controlling these wolves. Rumi pulled herself onto a jagged rock, fingers bleeding, lungs completely on fire. But the wolves split, half cutting her path below, half flanking in from the sides. They weren't hunting blindly anymore. They were executing a cold, calculated trap. Zoey sprinted hard down the ridge to reach Rumi and hit the ground, leg caught fast. A buried trap, placed with precision. Someone had prepared this long before tonight. And deep inside the shadows, Jinu stood perfectly still, watching every single move. His eyes weren't cold. They weren't empty. They were drowning in raw, silent pain. Zoey yanked her trapped leg free, skin torn, hands shaking, heartbeat deafening. She looked down at the trap and felt her stomach completely drop with cold dread. This wasn't rusted metal. This was brand new. Someone placed it here just tonight. Her eyes swept the forest floor. 3 more traps hidden beneath scattered dry leaves. This whole path was blocked on purpose. Rumi was never meant to escape this place. Zoey's hand hit something hard and small, half buried beneath a twisted root nearby. She pulled it out slowly, a sleek black whistle device with a single red signal light. Her blood went ice cold as the tiny red light blinked once, then twice, then steadily. Someone nearby was actively using an identical device to direct every single wolf move. They're not wild. They're weapons, Zoey whispered, gripping it with trembling fingers. High above in a hidden rich hollow, Mira watched through a sharp monocular lens. She found the decoy, Mira said flatly, unbothered, already pressing her own device harder. Abby leaned in beside her with a slow grin spreading wide across his sharp-edged face. Doesn't matter. Jinu already made his choice tonight. Rumi is completely on her own now. But Jinu hadn't made peace with any choice. His jaw was locked tight, body coiled like a spring. He had counted every wolf, mapped every blind spot, memorized every single gap in their circle. He wasn't abandoning Rumi. He was rebuilding the entire battlefield inside his own silent mind. The largest wolf lunged at Rumi, jaws wide open, claws tearing through cold night air. Then a sharp, piercing sound cracked across the forest and froze every wolf completely still. Jinu stepped out from the shadows, holding a second whistle device firmly in his hand. He had found Mira's backup transmitter earlier and reprogrammed it completely in secret. You planned this whole trap, Jinu said quietly, so I borrowed your own weapon against you. The wolves turned sharply, confused signals colliding, their obedience breaking apart fast. Zoey activated the decoy device simultaneously, splitting the frequency into pure static chaos. Mira slammed her controller repeatedly, but the wolves scattered wildly in every direction. No! No! Abby, do something! They're losing the signal! Everything is falling apart now! Abby grabbed Mira's arm and ran, but Zoey had already blocked the only exit path out. It's over, Zoey said, standing firm, eyes burning with quiet and absolute certainty. Rumi climbed down from the rock slowly, legs trembling, eyes locked straight onto Jinu. The betrayal was still raw on her face, the confusion still burning deep behind her eyes. You left me, Jinu. You looked at me and just walked away like I meant absolutely nothing. Jinu said nothing at first, then slowly lifted the edge of his torn shirt on the left side. A deep gash ran across his ribs, dried blood, cloth pressed hard against it to stay quiet. Mira stabbed me before we entered the forest, and told me if I helped you, Zoey would die. Rumi's breath caught completely, the anger dissolving into something far heavier than rage. Walking away was the only move that kept both of you alive long enough for me to fight back. Silence swallowed the forest whole as Rumi stepped forward and held him without a single word. Zoey stood watching them both, then looked quietly down at the broken devices in her hands. Mira and Abby were captured, the wolves were gone, and the forest finally exhaled into stillness. But one thought refused to leave. Jinu had nearly bled out alone, protecting everyone in secret. He didn't ask for gratitude. He didn't explain himself. He just quietly made sure they survived. And that single truth rewrote everything Rumi thought she knew about love, loyalty, and sacrifice. So tell me, if the person you trusted most walked away at your worst moment, could you forgive them?